Hello, this is our new channel, Stempster Adventure. It feels a little bit strange talking to the camera, but this is something I really want to do for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I really love watching videos about other people's adventures in gardens and their houses when they've bought new houses, renovation tasks, things like that. Secondly, we've been here a year now, and I'm finding myself beginning to wish that I'd filmed it from the very off so I can look over it myself. So we are going to start this new channel, not challenge, although it probably is going to be that as well, to document what we're doing here at Stempster. So we bought Stempster House back in June last year, and we moved in July. And from there it has been a bit of a whirlwind. We've had some brilliant times, we've had some surprises, not all of them great, so I'm hoping to document them all. Today I just want to start quite small, so I'd like to show you around. There's a pigeon. I'd like to show you around the wild wood, as we call it, and the water garden, which has at the moment no water in, but we have imagination, so we can imagine what it's going to be like when it does. So we'll start from the gate, from the lawn, all the way to the avenue, I think, first of all. A bit Blair Witchy. So you come through the garden from the house and you arrive here at the avenue. I don't know who planted these trees, whether it was the people before us or if they're older. They're spruce trees, so I don't think they're all that old. My brother-in-law, who is like this tree expert person, has suggested that we actually replace the spruce trees with deciduous. I should probably be whispering that actually because I'm right underneath them. We've not mown this grass since last year, and it's looking good. The grass doesn't grow very long here because the trees shade it out. So with deciduous trees, it should have more of a chance to grow in spring, early spring. The avenue leads to a wall. I don't know if there used to be a gate here, but we'd quite like to put a gate back in. That's in the long term. That's a job that's not essential, so it will wait. These trees are dead, so we'd quite like to replace them but put them in slightly further in so they get more light. I think I can hear the dog walkers, so let's see if we can see them. Nope, I can't see them. They haven't come around the corner yet. Oh, wait, who's that? It's the dog walkers. My sisters. This is the way into the water garden, which, like I said, has no water in except for rain at the moment. The grass has grown longer here because it's got the daylight from that side. The trees are a mixture, I think, is it sycamore? And then there's one leaning over, which I don't know what it is. There's a few mystery trees in this place. We're not sure what all of them are. So the grass has grown longer. We're going to cut it soonish. And the plan is to have a kind of water feature in here. There's a nice big open space, and it's right next to the avenue. So at the moment it's lined with spruce trees, which might be changing into deciduous. We'll just have to wait and see. And I love the gate, which we don't use. We don't really use this gate at all, but I absolutely adore it. I don't know if it's original or if it was put here by the last owners, who I know did a lot of work on the property. So I'd quite like to find out what was here before. This yew tree is not happy, but it's got some new growth on it. It was really shaded out by these trees, and then last year we cut down the bottom branches, letting in a lot more light, and I think now it's getting a bit happier. And hopefully it focuses. See all that pale green? That's new growth. Just ignore the brown dead bits. Fingers crossed it does better. We have planted another yew tree, which obviously is very small at the moment, which I'll go show you. So this is from the water garden. You can see the line of green is the avenue. And it looks beautiful in the snow as well. Just looking back up to the house from where we've come. Lots and lots of ground elder, which I don't mind here, but in the flower beds not so much. Got to clear the way for my little rose. This is where the old compost heap was, but there was so much in it, it kind of weighed itself down and it was almost like wet peat. So we've moved the compost bin to the kitchen garden, where it's going to be a bit more useful. So this is the wildwood, as we like to call it. This is the new yew tree, which kind of works as like opposite to the other one. It's maybe needing a bit of clearing around it from the ground elder, maybe a bit of a mulch. It does get light, but only at certain times of the day. I mean, yew shouldn't really need as much light as some other trees. So you can see there's parts of this bit that's nice and green and lush, and I think that's because we've got more deciduous trees here. So they don't shade out the floor all year, just at certain times. Because of where we live, there's lots of flies. Because of where we live, the deciduous trees are a bit later coming out. Here's a lovely Scots pine. I love how it's curved at the bottom. So this is a summer house, which we have started painting inside because it needed a bit of love. And that was last year, and then other things happened and it kind of got left for a bit. I love the view down here. Absolutely love it. There's a lot of cutting back needs doing. But this has been very well loved at one point in time and will be again. See, so much wildlife comes here. We have wildlife cameras and we have got deer, we have pine martens, we have foxes. We're kind of hoping for a badger, but we've not seen any on the wildlife cameras yet. And lots of different trees as well, so there's a bit more variety in this bit. I don't know what that is. It's kind of like a bush tree. This is an oak tree. The deer like it. Lots of insects. Kind of bothersome, to be honest, but just looking back towards the summer house, one of my favourite views with the sycamore behind it and the Scots pine in front of it. I don't know if you can hear all the buzzing. And the holly tree looks like it's got loads of new growth on it. Or holly bush, really. We have so many hollies. It's wonderful. Last Christmas we cut loads of greenery for the house and Oh, it was absolutely perfect. There's a bit of yellowing on the leaves, but there's also lots of new growth too. And down here it was all cut off, so the lower branches came up to about where that one's sticking out, and you couldn't go any further than that without pushing past. There's a dead tree up here, which I actually really love, and you could just about reach that if you were really brave and you pushed past all the needles and everything, but you just couldn't get past that at all. Anyway, then last year we cut down a lot of the lower branches, letting in so much more light and gaining an extra, well, I'm really not good with distances, but it's quite a long way down to the bottom. Poor little thing. Just tell myself that it's part of the food chain now. Got to tell yourself these things, don't you? And look, there's even a flower which I've not noticed until just now. Last year you just wouldn't have got that. It would be way too dark. All of these were just creating so much shade. The lower branches were dead. The higher branches have needles on, but they'd shaded themselves out. We're going to cut back those branches and have that as a bit of a sculpture, I think. And here we found some little treasures at the bottom of this patch. We've got, well, it looks like some kind of apple, which obviously was not very happy because it hadn't got any light. but now it's doing so much better. It's still quite leggy, and I want to ask my brother-in-law if he can have a look at it, mend it, do whatever he does with trees. And then there's another one here. And we've got so many rowans around the property, which is lovely because the birds absolutely adore them. They love the berries. If we just go past the apples, if they are apples, and we've got some fuchsia, I think. Is it called fuchsia? And a really random ornamental grass. So this is it's clearly been a loved garden at some point. And then looking back up, which is one of my favourite views, looking back up to the house, which you can't really see from here. And then this is the road. So we're not on a main road, as you can see. We're not even on the road off the main road. We are on a road off the main road. So well away from cars and things. Now there is the Brock. You see the little hill? And that's not on our property, but we absolutely love having it as our next door neighbours. Iron Age Brock. Don't really know much about it. You can't really find a lot about it. And the old farmer in the 60s, I think, said he remembered climbing in as a kid, but it's since been collapsed in. So that there are, I'm sure, treasures underneath, but you don't want to disturb them, do you? Because it's part of the charm that it's all hidden. So that's our next door neighbours. And then the wind farm, also our neighbours. And, you know, some people really don't like wind turbines. I love them. And I should do a video, actually. I really want to do a video on what it's like living next door to a wind farm. Just, you know, there's a lot of scaremongering goes on, but they really shouldn't be because, they're not going at the moment, really. Not much, because it's not really windy, but a lot of people think they're noisy. They're not, really. I'll try and do a video when they're actually all going, and then you can hear the noise that they make. They do make a noise. It's kind of like, it's just like wind. You know, like it's when you can hear the wind through the trees and things. It's a bit like that. Sometimes sounds a bit like traffic. Oh, there's a bumblebee. I will try and get a video of it. So we're going to go back up now to the house, and I think we'll leave it at the gate. I absolutely love coming in here, but you know what? I don't do it enough. And the reason is we don't let the dogs in at the moment. 2 reasons. In spring, we weren't sure if there were things living in here. We've got a huge pile of dead branches that we cut down and didn't move. And then because we didn't move them, things have taken advantage of it and gone to live there, I think. and we've seen hares in here a lot, and we were concerned that there were maybe leverets, baby hares, so we didn't want the dogs in because they are defenseless when they're little, so we didn't want them to hurt them. So we don't let the dogs in. Another reason is because there are gaps in the wall. So we have a slate wall around the edge, and parts of the slates have been broken. Just look at that beautiful green of the oak tree. And because they've been broken, the little one and possibly the bigger one can get through. Just look at the red of that Scots pine. Isn't it gorgeous? Right, so we're going to head up back to the gate, past the summer house. We do have some hogweed in here. Not giant hogweed, so it's not like the really, really bad stuff, but it still hurts when you get the sap on you. So we just have to be really careful about cutting the grass, because we use one of those old-fashioned mowers in here because it's a bit of away from the electricity, and that means that it curls around the blades and then you have to get it off by hand. So if you cut down hogweed, it's going to be sore, kind of like if you did nettles. So here we come to the house. I'll do another tour another time of the rest of the garden, but I think this is enough to be getting on with for our first video. Thanks for joining us on our first Stempster Adventure video. I hope you will enjoy these YouTube videos and join us on our next great big adventure. We have so much to do in the house, so much to do in the garden, and yeah, please do join us. So feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications, because then you'll know when we upload a new video. My plan for this channel is to upload 1 or 2 videos a week. I don't particularly have a schedule at the moment, because I found that doing schedules doesn't really work sometimes. So during the summer holiday, I'm just going to make as many videos as possible, figure out a schedule, and then hopefully during term time I can keep to that. So thank you so much for joining us for episode 1, and see you next time.